Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the AGM and 20th anniversary of the MPS GCA. For those that don't know me, I am Thωμά Χατζησάββα, chairperson of the association. May I take this opportunity to thank you all for joining us today, especially those travelling as far as Cyprus, Chief of Cyprus Police, Zacharias Χρυσοστόμου, and co-founder of the association, Peter Savas, and even those travelling from as far as North London. Thank you. I'd like to extend my appreciation to our host, High Commissioner of the Republic of Cyprus to the UK, Ευριπίδης Ευρυβιάδη, for welcoming us all into this stunning venue. He's had to go off to an urgent matter, so he would have been joining us and opening the meeting formally today. When he does return, he'll join us and you'll hear some words from him. There are some important matters for us to run through before we officially open the meeting, but without realising, we've already taken care of our priority, and that's the food. Lovely food from Aroma. If there is a need to evacuate the building, we'll make our way towards the closest fire exit, and that one is just through that door there, which leads out to the rear of the building, where we will assemble. Otherwise, we have another option where you've entered at the front of the building and towards the square. The toilets are located just through those doors behind the far corner, and there's a disabled toilet just in the room next door to us here. Please feel free to walk out, answer calls, help yourself to drinks throughout the meeting. It's really not a problem at all. Just make sure, can we please just make sure for the benefit of the cameras and any recordings that mobile phones are on silent. Over the next couple of hours, we'll hear from special guests, look back at the history and achievements of the association, learn what we have planned going forwards, and recognise the contributions from our members and the community. When we break for lunch, the formal day concludes for our non-members, but please join us for round two, courtesy of Aroma Patisserie. The members-only meeting will continue after this. Now, it is my honour to hand over to the Chief of Cyprus Police, Mr. Zacharias Χρυσοστόμου, who's just going to say a few words for us.
Well, when I left London in 1982 to go back home, I was born here. I never thought that I would stand here in front of you as a Chief of the Cyprus Police, giving a small speech for this association, which is doing great after 20 years. And I was really surprised and happy to hear that you have more than 250 members now, members of the Greek and Cypriot community in the Metropolitan Police Service. Dear Mr. Haggisavvas, Chairman of the Greek and Cypriot Association of the Metropolitan Police Service, significant members of the community, dear members of the association, ladies and gentlemen, let me begin by expressing my sincere gratitude to the Chairman of the Greek and Cypriot Association of the Metropolitan Police Service, Mr. Thωμά Χατζησάββα, who has invited me to attend the works of the annual general meeting and the 20th anniversary celebration of the association. I would like to begin my address by stressing on the professionalism and dedication of your association to the Greek and Cypriot community, which is evident to anyone by just looking at the mission statement of your association, where it is stated, amongst others, that we at the MPS GCA know the importance of our cultures, beliefs, and everyday way of life. I'm certain that while performing your duties, these instinctive beliefs, cultural traits, the way you were brought up in the Greek and Cypriot community, as well as your way of life, play a vital role, not only when dealing with the aforementioned communities, but also with any other communities that you police and safeguard. The doctrine that the police are the public and the public are the police was set out by Sir Robert Peel in 1829 when he established the Metropolitan Police Service. This doctrine is timeless and it will never ever fade away. I'm stressing this Peelian principle out of the 9 because the mission of your association reflects on it, and it reminds us all that we are the public and we have to serve the public while considering their needs and differences. In the 19th century, Sir Robert Peel had a vision for a modern and ethical policing model, a policing model that is best characterized today as policing by consent, in which the public believes in and contributes in it, a model which emphasizes on the legitimacy of policing, a policing model which many police services around the globe attempt to adopt, enforce, and promote. This is an honor, not just for the organization you work for, but also an honor for yourselves because you are serving at such a historical, pioneer, and honorable police service. Cyprus Police adheres to the principles set out by Sir Robert Peel, since we believe that modern policing should be considerate to all the doctrines set by him. You, dearest colleagues, have a double role in UK society. On one hand, you are a diverse group in the UK's mainstream society and ethnicity, and on the other hand, you are part of the diversity, or a minority, one could claim, in the Metropolitan Police Service. You are all a true example of diversity, and you should feel proud for this, since you can make a difference not only to the Greek and Cypriot community, but also to other communities you serve and protect. Dear colleagues, it is common knowledge to us all that today's world faces unprecedented and immense threats due to the multifaceted crime trends, be it terrorism, organized crime, cybercrime, to name a few. It is important that in times when humanity is facing huge challenges as regards public order and safety, our police services cooperate, and in extent, our police officers unite, and through your association, you are promoting cooperation and unity in people and communities. The fight is common for all police services around the world. The target is one: safeguarding and protecting all people with disregard to ethnicity, religion, color, or anything else that may constitute them as different. We all know that the Metropolitan Police is doing just that, and this is one of the reasons Cyprus Police keeps strong ties, not only with the Met, but also with other UK police services, as well as the SPA Police and the College of Policing. Talking about the SPA Police in Cyprus. The way the UK police services respond to crime and diversity, and in extent, the way you, members of the Metropolitan Police, respond to crime, are many times an example and even sometimes an inspiration for all law enforcement agents around the world. At this point, I would like to stress that for the first time in the history of Cyprus Police, the chair of the National Police Chiefs Council, the NPCC, at that time Chief Constable Ms. Sarah Thornton, invited the Chief of Cyprus Police to attend the works of the Council's meeting. I was honored to be the first Chief of Cyprus Police to attend such a professional body of Chief Constables in the UK, and since then a few other meetings followed with me being around. Thus, I take this opportunity to express my thanks and appreciation to Ms. Thornton and the NPCC for their initiative to invite us. And this demonstrates the enhanced cooperation that we have been having the last several years with the Met and other police organizations in the UK. The working environment of all police officers around the globe is constantly and rapidly changing, and if we are not to work together and to cooperate and to exchange best practices and expertise, we will not succeed. My presence here is a proof of Cyprus police dedication in promoting international police cooperation, in exchanging ideas, and in ensuring that we can get the best out of all of us in an attempt to keep the societies we police safe and peaceful. Dear colleagues, I would like to close my address by stressing once again that I'm honored to be standing here today and talking to you. I am proud that the Greek and Cypriot community is having a voice in one of the finest police services around the world. In hard and striving times, many Greek and Cypriot families, including mine, migrated to the UK for a better future, and today I'm witnessing just that. You are all making us proud, and we're feeling even safer that ours are in the finest of the UK. I would like to assure you of my commitment in promoting and supporting your work, and also in promoting stronger bonds and cooperation between our police services. Congratulations for your celebrations, and all the best in your future endeavors. Thank you.
Thank you very much, κύριε Χρυσοστόμου. Thank you. For those that don't know me, I'm the Secretary of the Greek and Cypriot Association, and my name is George Pálmas. Before we have our next speaker, there's a couple of bits that we need to do to fulfill our AGM, and the first one is to go through our apologies. We received over 30 apologies, so I'm not going to list the name of every single member or community member that couldn't make it. However, they will be documented in our minutes, which will follow the meeting. The next part of the AGM will be to propose last year's minutes. So if I can have a member that could propose them for us, please. Costa, thank you. And also for them to be second. Fodi, thank you very much.
It's not the best way to start a remark by apologizing, but I have to offer to you my apologies for not being here at the opening. Have you heard what's happening in town? No, nobody has heard of the dreaded B word, Brexit, and some other issues that are happening. So it keeps us busy for breakfast, lunch, and dinner. Something came up, and I had to leave and to take care, and I'm here now just to simply welcome you, to welcome each and every one of you here, what we call the Cyprus home. Not the Cyprus house. A house is simply a building, but we look at it as a home, which is a family, where families live, because this is what brings us together as one community, Cypriots, irrespective of their ethnic background. I would like to welcome you for this AGCM, the annual general meeting of the MPS GCA. You're celebrating this year your 20th anniversary, and I think it's a cause to celebrate because the association does a lot for the community. It also protects, but it also engages the community, participates in some of our festivals that we have, including the Wine Festival, which is a signature event of the community, and I want to thank them. Fortunately, we don't have too many UK Cypriots that get into trouble. Not any Cypriots that get into trouble, few of them, from what I see from the consular departments, which is good news, which means you're doing a wonderful job in engaging the community. I want to also welcome the Chief of the Police, of the Cyprus Police, Zacharias Χρυσοστόμου, who came here specifically for this occasion, the co-founder of the MPS GCA, Peter Savas. Okay, you've already been recognized, so everybody knows you are because you were a co-founder, and so your legacy moves on. And I guess you have retired as well, right? I mean, you have retired, so well. A number of us are following suit. So it's not easy. The commander, Mark McHugh, thank you. You know, it was President Truman that said, "I don't care what they say against me as long as they pronounce my name right." So I'm sorry, I apologize for pronouncing your name right. And of course, last but not least, Thωμά Χατζησάββα, who's always eager and is always energetic and always engaging with the High Commission. So A short speech moves the hearts, a long speech moves chairs. I do not want you to move any chairs. Again, to welcome you for coming here. This is your home, and any time that we can be at your disposal, let us know. We have a huge increase in one of the unintended collateral advantages of Brexit is that the number of UK Cypriots, third, fourth generation, sometimes second generation, are rediscovering Cyprus. And we're naturally, because our workload in terms of applications for citizenship has increased to more than 1,000%. And needless to say that the resources have not been increased 1,000%, either human or financial. So, but irrespective of that, we will try to do our best. Apologies sometimes if we do not do it fast enough, but we will do it. So, without much ado, I'm sorry for butting in like this, and I will stay a little bit, but then I have to butt out again, and you have to apologize for that. Too many apologies, but okay. Without much ado, then I will continue your work, and we are always at your disposal. God bless. Thank you.
Right, before we move on to the next item on the agenda, I just want to go through something so that we don't miss the opportunity. Now, part of our 5-year plan was to reach out further to the community, and that includes recognising contributions of those within it in supporting the MPS GCA and the wider community. So for the first time, I am proud to be presenting our Community Award, and seeing as it's a special occasion, there'll be a couple of those. We'll start off with the first one, and it goes to someone who we formed a partnership with nearly 5 years ago now. He took us under his wing, put great energy into promoting us and all members of the community, and worked closely alongside us in response to major incidents, such as the terror attacks in London. He's brought the community together with open arms, promoting unity and cohesion of all, regardless of origin or faith, something we value highly. I am honoured to present to the High Commissioner of the Republic of Cyprus to the UK, Your Excellency. Please join us for the first ever Community Award of the MPS GCA.
First of all, I didn't expect this.
Put you on the spot now, haven't you?
Yeah, you have put me on the spot, but thank you very much. I accept it on behalf of the hard-working team of this High Commission, because they work very, very hard. And I just happen to be the High Commissioner. I get paid to do what I do, which I do with passion and with love and with oxygen, but I pay tribute to the team here that works over and above the call of duty, and of course I pay tribute to the community here. A lot of the people are here who give generously from their time and from their money on a volunteer basis. And I think that touches a hard disk. And the hard disk, you can spell it H-E-A-R-T, which unlike the computer hard disk, does not suffer from any memory failure. So thank you very much. I shall treasure this, because in 4 months I reached the tender age of 65, and I'm forced to retirement, and I'm going mental about it. Good job.
Your Excellency, thank you. Now, the next thing on the agenda involves our co-founder, Peter Savas. Now, when I joined the Metropolitan Police Service in 2006 as a keen young 19-year-old, I remember going to my first AGM and meeting Peter Savas, who helped and supported me through the process of joining the organisation. And I remember going up to him and telling him that I was going to join the committee one day and do amazing things. And when I left, I thought, you idiot, what did you say that for? He was coming towards the end of his career, and I've just gone and told him with 5 minutes service that I'm going to do amazing things. So, without further ado, Peter Savas, could you come up and join us here, please?
First and foremost, I would like to say to all those serving officers, thank you for my pension. And that goes for Phidias and for George as well. Carry on working. Thank you very much. It gives me the life that I'm accustomed to in Cyprus. You know, as you can see, vegetarians can't live in Cyprus. Yeah. Okay, Your Excellency, Mr. Zacharias, Mr. Begun, guests, it's a pleasure to be here today. I came from Cyprus last night, but technically speaking, I am in Cyprus. Technically speaking, so I'm still home. Who would have thought 20 years ago we started this, and it started with a simple phone-in program at London Greek Radio. And we were sat there, and the Greek community were phoning in. You can imagine the sort of questions that we were getting. And then this guy phoned up and said, "How many Cypriots is there in the police?" And I was with the late Chris Michaelidis at that time, Chief Inspector. So he looked at me, and I looked at him, and I shrugged my shoulders. We came out, he goes to me, "Tomorrow, I want you to phone P Department." P Department was personnel back then. And I said, "Chris, you've got 3 pips and I've got 3 numbers. Who's going to get further, me or you?" So he goes, "Right, leave it to me." So I left it to him. And he phones me up. He said, "Well, I phoned them." And I said, "And?" He says, "They couldn't tell me." I said, "Okay." He goes, "This is how the conversation went. I'm Chief Inspector Chris Michaelidis from Bethnal Green Police Station. Can you tell me how many Cypriots are in the police?" "No." "Why not? If I asked you about black and Asian officers, you press a button and tell me. So why can't you tell me how many Greek officers there is?" So, well, we just don't record it. And even earlier on, they said that there was about, how many? 200, 300, 400? I think there's a lot more than that. But when people were filling the application form in, instead of ticking Greek and Greek Cypriot, they would tick in British. So I think there is a lot more than what is actually recorded. So we decided to get together and speak to each other and find out, you know, do you know any, do you know any, do you know any? And we got to 29 at that time. At that time, we met in a restaurant in Bethnal Green, in a Greek restaurant, where else? And Mark Georgiou was there, who unfortunately can't be here today. After a few days, Mark Georgiou rings me up, and he said to me, "Guess what I've done?" I said, "What have you done?" He said, "Well, I spoke to the commissioner, I returned the message," and he said, and I told him that every communication that comes out of his office is all about black and Asian officers. What about the rest of us? So I said, "Then what did he say to you?" He said, "Make an appointment and come and see me." And he said, "I'm not going on my own. You know, you started this, you go with me." So we went and saw Mr. Condon at that time, and he said, "How can I help?" I said, "I need money." He said, "Well, I ain't got any. I need you to go off and form a committee and a constitution, and we'll go from there." These are the very, very first minutes of that meeting. And it was held on Friday, the 16th of April, 1999, at 10 a.m. at 50 Abbots Hall Avenue, Southgate, my house at the time. Present, Superintendent Barry Clark, who became our chair. I know, it's not a Greek name, but his wife was Greek. And I think you know the company, Big K Charcoal, that's the family. But our constitution said anyone that's Greek or Greek Cypriot at the time, or married to a Greek or Greek Cypriot, so he qualified. Myself, Mark Georgiou, George Dimitriou, where is your brother? Leon Christodoulou and Helen Dean. who is in Cyprus at the moment. And absent was Chris Michaelidis at the time and George Panayi. We got this a bit wrong, really, because we should have formed the committee first. But we were so excited, we started with the wine festival. You know, as you do, yeah. So the wine festival, it was going to be on the 26th and 27th of June of that year, and the times. We spoke about the dress code. We informed at the meeting that this year's display was being funded by P7, the proactive team. I can't remember what we had on the stand there at that time. And that was it, the wine festival. Then we decided to get around to forming a committee. And Barry Clark was voted as chair, Chris Michaelidis as vice chair, myself as secretary, Mark Giorgio as treasurer, and the other posts that were filled were social secretary George Dimitriou, mentor secretary Helen Dean, recruitment and retention was Mark Giorgio, and his assistant was Leo Christodoulou. And that was basically it. There was nothing else, and we finished at 12:50. So that was our very first meeting back then. And I know that people were a bit frightened of us. For all of us that are retired, we get a magazine called London Police Pensioner. And there was an article in there. We were talking about the Greek Staff Association, and they said, someone wrote to me and said, they were frightened of your association. They were frightened of us. And I thought, why were they frightened of us? You know, but it was like anything else in this service. If it's alien, we don't like it. Yeah? If we don't understand something, we don't like it. So it was only a matter of time. And eventually we started to get used. You saw a paperclip of the Yannulla Yanni murder, and I actually worked on that when I had the show on London Greek Radio. The officers got in touch, they asked me if I can help, and we did get some calls which we went off to see people, etc., etc. Other departments starting to come on board. One year someone brought some leaflets to the wine festival, and they wanted to know who this man was. And it just so happened my son was there. He went, I know him. I said, how do you know him? He says, he's a customer at my bank, but that's not the name he goes under. So that was another thing that we did. In 2000, some of us went to Greece and worked on the murder of Brigadier Saunders. And we were back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. And then in 2004, the Greeks wanted us to help them with the Olympic Games in Athens. And we said, okay, if we must, you know. And I was fortunate enough to be sent out to Greece. I was the first one out to Greece for that. And 2 days after being there, the chief superintendent walks in. He says, I need an interpreter for Cyprus. And I said, why? He said, I need a link between Special Branch and the Cyprus Police. And I said, and where is it? He said, Paphos. He didn't have to say anything more, my hometown. I said, I'll go. He says, do you want to go? And I went to Paphos. And then there I had the pleasure of meeting Nigos Tsapis, who's the Deputy Assistant Chief of Police at Paphos, and we became very good friends ever since. But when I got introduced to him, and someone said, this is Peter Savas. And before anything else was said, he went, Greek Staff Association. And I thought, bloody hell, how did you know? But he did. And we keep in touch ever since. Even to this very day, I do speak to him. We've come a long way. We've had barriers. Whenever we were doing the wine festival and we spoke to the job regarding funding or freebies, we got the same answer: we haven't got any. We haven't got any. Yeah. We had to go to the museum down, which is in a secret location in Charlton, and get things for our stand, have them delivered. No one else would help us. We had to do it all ourselves. I can't remember the amount of people that I've helped in my own time, in my own home, giving up my time and going back into the office. But I was very eager to get as many Greeks in the police as possible. Very. And of course, you know, it had its fun. I was asked to go to a burglary in Whiteman Road, and the woman was Greek. As we got there, I said to my colleague, "Don't say I'm Greek." Not a word. So her son was there doing the interpreting. So I asked, "What happened here?" He asked her in Greek, it came back, and off he went like this. I said, "Right, we want to go upstairs, and in each room, tell us what went missing." And we did this. When we came downstairs, and I said, "What's gone missing from this room?" And forgive me for those that don't speak Greek, but I will tell you in a minute. She said, "Τίποτε αλλά να πω ότι μου εκλέψαν." Okay, she said, "Nothing, but I'm going to say that they stole something." Okay, so I said, what did she say? He went, "Oh no, nothing, nothing." She goes, "You can't say that," you know. And we caught how many people like this out? Loads of people. As I say, it's come a long way. I retired 9 years ago and moved to Cyprus, which for me was the best thing I've ever done. And if anyone here is near retirement, seriously think about it. We don't have problems with Brexit, although every single Brit at the moment is going to the Ministry of Transport to change their licence to Cypriot licences. And my wife's doing it on Tuesday. Everyone's doing it. Getting nationalities, getting passports, just in case. So everyone's doing that. It is very laid back, as you know, in Cyprus. You know, everything is avril, you know. But we get there in the end. We get there in the end. It has its good, like everywhere else, and it has its bad. You know, the good thing is that they like to get things done. If you lose your ATM card in the machine, you go in the bank, they give it to you straight away, which is the good thing. The bad thing is they're driving. I haven't got a clue. It is very, very bad, they're driving. Hence the amount of accidents, unfortunately, that occurs. And it's all youngsters, and it's to do with motorbikes and speed and what have you. It's very sad. I got stopped going home one night, and the police officer was dealing with something else. He said to me, "Can you wait there?" "Oh, yeah." And I got out the car and I waited, and he dealt with someone. This was at 2 o'clock in the morning. And he came over to me and he said, "Sorry about that." I said, "No," I said, I was in the police, I know what it's all about. He goes, "Where?" I said, "In England." He says, "Can I ask you a question? What's the difference between your police and our police?" So I looked up at the sky, at the moon, and I said, "From here to there and back." I said, "We implement the law for everyone." And he smiled. He goes, "I understand," he said. And that was it. Off I went. But it's still a lovely place to live. Crime, I won't say crime-free, but we haven't got the crime that you have here. We haven't got idiots walking around stabbing people all day. But anyway, I think Tom, where is he? Where's the other one gone? He's hiding somewhere. Not George. Where is he? He's gone. They've done a great job as secretary and chair. They brought it away, yeah, you were right, that to have a dream when you came to join. There's nothing wrong with that, because we weren't going to live forever in the Met Police. People ask me, do I miss it? No, not really. Miss the people in it, miss the characters and what have you. I don't miss the job, because I do speak to people here and they said to me, you got out at the right time. You know, and it's sad to hear that everyone's on countdown for retirement, you know. But I had a good time. I'm very proud to have served in the Met Police. You know, extremely proud. I'm extremely proud to be a BBC, British-born Cypriot. And extremely proud to be here today, and of you guys, you know, that's done this fantastic job in bringing the GSA as it was to GCA to what it is now, to this day today. I wish you have another 20 years. I probably won't be here to attend in 20 years, but I hope you just go from strength to strength in everything that you plan and that you do. And you carry on the good work in employing trying to recruit as many Greek and Greek Cypriots as you possibly can. Okay, thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Peter, co-founder and now honorary member of the GCA. As Peter was saying, he retired 9 years ago and handed over the baton of the Staff Association to Tom and others that were in the room. And I'm just going to talk briefly about where we've gone from 2010 to present day in the work that we've done and continue to do. So in the years following, the association has grown from strength to strength. We've assisted the MPS in several large-scale operations, including London Rights in 2011, safe delivery of the Olympics and Paralympics in 2012, and also the EuroLeague basketball finals in 2014, which attracted thousands of Greek and Cypriots to our capital. That's just to name a few. And throughout those events, the GCA, or GSA, as it was then known, worked at these events to help coordinate with the MPS and communicate with the delegates and VIPs and members of the public that descend onto our capital day in, day out. The association has also assisted the MPS through some more tragic moments, including London Bridge terrorist attacks, of which Greek nationals were unfortunately harmed. And in that role, Tom was liaising with the Greek embassy. And also, as touched on by Peter, in terms of the investigation for Yanul Layani, which thankfully in 2016 justice was done and the perpetrator was charged and brought to justice. The association has also gone through some huge internal changes in this time. The logo has been transformed, as you saw from the clip as you walked in, to what you see now today. And also the name has changed from the Greek Staff Association to the Greek and Cypriot Association. It's also, as you can see, it now includes the word Cypriot. It's more inclusive to our Cypriot members and community, and also has removed the staff wording. So we're not only just internally focused on our staff and representing our staff and helping them through trials and tribulations that they may have within the job, but also engaging with our community and looking at how we can work together to encourage Greek and Cypriots to join the MPS and how we can assist them. In 2017, we became the first support staff association to have our headquarters outside of an MPS building. Now, this was due to the fact that Southgate Police Station, which was our home, was being sold, and we were given the opportunity to move to ESB. For those that don't know, it's a huge building that the MPS have, but it's in the West London, nowhere near our community. So we decided as a committee that the best thing for us would be to stay based within our community in North London, and gained office space at the Cypriot Brotherhood free of charge, where we could hold our meetings but then be able to go and speak to our community and our members with ease. And we were the first staff association to do that within the MPS. We've also gone completely paperless, apart from maybe these. And this is through our website that we have, again, one of the only staff associations where we have our external website where we manage our memberships. Also our documents, so our constitution, our minutes, agendas, and also where we sell merchandise. The pin badges that we have, t-shirts, caps, and this is all done online and also generates a revenue for the association, so we're not so much of a burden on the MPS in terms of funding, like Peter said, sometimes can be very difficult to get. GCA has continued to support our community and promote the MPS at several events, one of them being the Cyprus Wine Festival and Business Exhibition, which was one of the first ones that we attended in 1999 when it was formed, when our association was formed, and we continue to be present, where over 20,000 Greek and Cypriots descend over a weekend, and we're there to communicate and speak, not with those that attend, but also the important businesses that are there, and creating ties with these businesses so that we can then promote the MPS to them via them. We also have the community members barbecue, which we hold every year and plan every year, as well as the Xmas feeding of the elderly at the Cypriot Community Centre in Wood Green. We've also most recently, in the past 3 years, been integral in the successful circulation of the Epitaphion at Aios Konstantinou and Ellenis Greek Orthodox Church in Crystal Palace. Now, for nearly 30 years, this wasn't something that they could do due to the geographical location, it being on the border of 3 boroughs, and also a cultural misunderstanding from officers and also licensed premises around the area. But with the help of the GCA, with our cultural understanding, our knowledge of the language, the religion, we were able to make the MPS understand how important it was to our culture that something like this was able to go ahead. And with our work, and as part of our existence, as to what we do, not just supporting our staff, but also our community, we've been able to have successful circulations of the Epitaphion for 3 years, and we're now planning the 4th. And this is a legacy that will continue, and hopefully can expand on the other churches that we have in London. At all these events, our aim is to positively promote the MPS, whilst encouraging Greek and Cypriots to consider a career in the police by improving their confidence in us, by seeing us and thinking, well, if George over there, he's Greek Cypriot, he's a police officer, I could do it. Tom can do it, I can do it. So that is the underlying ethos that we have at all these events that we have. Currently, less than 1% of the MPS's staff is of Greek Cypriot descent, whereas when you look at the representations within London, you're looking at nearly 5% of Londoners are Greek Cypriot. We need to bridge that gap. We need to make the MPS look and feel like London, and that's what we try to do as a staff association. The association has formed integral working relationships with key partners in the community. Police Beat was formed in 2015 with London Greek Radio, following what Peter Savas originally done when the association was brought. This allows us to speak to hundreds of thousands of our community over the radio waves at any one time, being able to engage with them, inform them of the recruitment process, and is integral in terms of mobilising the partners and the feeds that they currently have to be able to communicate with our community. We also formed working relationships with Kipari through the Cyprus Wine and Festival and Business Exhibition, which enables us to have a free bi-monthly advertisement within their newspaper that goes out to the Greek and Cypriot community. This is work that the association has done and continues to do, and in trying to improve the representation within the MPS. More recently, we've supported our community with an incident where MPS staff presented a flag which caused offence to our community. This is something that the GCA led on, making complaints and challenging the MPS on inappropriate behaviour. And again, this is what we're here for. We're here to challenge the MPS when things aren't quite right, and also to work alongside them to make sure that these mistakes don't happen again. And this is thanks to the work that Tom, as the chair, and the rest of the committee have done throughout the year. More recently, we've started looking at the 5-year plan and the way we're going to develop our strategy to improve our recruitment process within the association and also within the MPS. And I won't talk too much about that because we'll touch on it in terms of our sponsorship programme, members benefits package, and also our 5-year plan, which Tom is going to speak about in a second. I'd like to finish just by saying thank you to the committee for all the hard work you continue to do. A lot of it in your own time. I know for myself the amount of time that I put in my own time whilst trying to juggle the work that we do full-time within the police. But we understand the importance of the role that we have within our community to represent them in the way that we are. I'd like to now ask Mr. McEwen to come forward and have a few words before we then talk about the 5-year plan with Tom. Thank you.
Thank you, George, and thank you for having me here today. If I could, Your Excellency, what a beautiful place to be. I think it's significant as well that we have the Chief of Cypriot Police here. I think that shows just how seriously people take the work of the Greek and Cypriot Association. The Commissioner sends her apologies. I'm here to represent the Metropolitan Police Service. She would have been here, but was keen that I pass on her regards and her thanks for the work that's being done. I won't keep you very long. I just wanted to put on record our thanks for the work of the Greek and Cypriot Association and for the staff associations more broadly. It's interesting to hear about some of the challenges that you may have had in years gone by in terms of establishing the association and recognition for the work that it does. My role as the lead for community engagement and inclusion issues across the Met was re-established last year under the current Commissioner, and I think that shows how much of a priority issues of diversity and inclusion are for her. It's hugely important that we have the understanding, and some of the examples that George has mentioned around the cultural competence that we need to understand symbols and flags that may not be apparent to someone like me, but there's that understanding there, and that is rightly raised within the Met to allow us to take the appropriate action. And it's only through the support of all our staff support associations that we can properly understand the communities across London. It is such a diverse city. It's what makes it probably the best city in the world. But we need more representation internally so that we can understand our communities. The Greek and Cypriot Association, in their focus on community engagement, are probably the leaders amongst the staff support associations in this field. Many of the others are now working together within the diversity and inclusion command, if you like, to look at how we utilise that competence to engage with communities more effectively. So it's hugely important to us as an organisation. There will be some funding available, particularly for outreach work, and we can discuss that. There are funds being made available. We need more people to join the Metropolitan Police. We need more diversity, and so that will be available for our staff support associations to help with that. I think it's also important that we comment on Brexit, in that we know that it is posing difficulties for many of our officers and staff who have European citizenship in other parts of Europe, and in terms of just the tensions and the concerns that they have around hate crime and around their future in this country. There is a commitment from the Metropolitan Police to support in places financially in terms of application and naturalisation processes, but also in terms of if we are finding inappropriate behaviour or commentary, we are asking people to come forward and tell us about that so that we can take action internally to support our officers and staff if they're finding that. We would like to think in 2019 that such things wouldn't happen in the police service, but we're all realistic enough to know that it may well. In an organisation of 40,000 people, we will have to deal with some inappropriate behaviour. So it's important just to recognise that and to say that support is there for you and for your association should you have to deal with that. But that's rather negative. On a more positive note, I just want to say again, thank you very much. It's wonderful to be here today, and the work that you're doing, keep doing it, and we will be able to support you better going forward because of the funding and because of changes to some of the structures that we're seeking to do around releasing officers for various outreach programmes and things like that. So definitely, whatever it is within your plan or any ideas that you have, bring them to my office and we will see how the organisation can support you better. Thank you.
Commander McEwen, thank you. Thanks for being here and thanks for saying those very kind words. So, obviously, we've heard today about the fantastic work that Peter Savas and his colleagues at the time did in establishing the Greek Staff Association as it was then, and bringing it forward to the point where he handed over at retirement. But times change. Technology advances, priorities change, and we had to adapt to that. So what this presentation aimed to do was give the MPS GCA, as it is now, a foundation to work from, a proper structure to go forward with alongside our objectives. And as you can see here, we followed very similar processes and structures to the organisation, the MPS. So our committee has a command structure. Although we have our separate roles, we have our own command structure within the association of gold, silver and bronze. So the chair followed by secretary, and then the bronzes being treasurer, who has an important role in dealing with the association's finances, and all the assistant secretaries that we have. And then the association itself, so going away from the committee, as I say, follows a similar structure to what we see on a borough, or as we are now, BCUs, in terms of operations, partnership and investigation. As you'll see further on in this slide, it becomes more relevant because it triggers certain points that we have to conduct reviews and ensure we are complying with current procedures and moving forward with the times. Thanks, Wads. As George already touched on, we've gone away from, we've gone more towards the community, reaching out to the community. And they're the two key elements that we focus on, members and the community. And by doing so, they go hand in hand in achieving our objectives. So by attracting members to the organisation and to our association, retaining them, so working to assist them with any issues we have or they have, and develop them to progress either laterally or up the chain in terms of promotion. And running alongside that, working with the community to engage with them, as you heard we do at large-scale community events, to support them through issues, as we've heard, with regards to major incidents in London, or it could be low-level crimes, and increasing their confidence in the Metropolitan Police Service. So we began this a couple of years back, and we started by putting those foundations in place. The next step was to build the community relations, because as the Chief of Cyprus Police touched on, we are but one. Police and public, we are but one. And part of that involved establishing some formal relationships with significant businesses within the Greek and Cypriot community. And this is something that George Pálmas worked very well on and really brought the association to another level. So as you'll see, if you was to visit our website, we have a number of sponsors at the bottom of the page. And through some very efficient work of our Vice Secretary, Kyrie Georgiou, who couldn't be with us here today, we were able to set clear outlines of that relationship between our sponsors, such as, for example, the Bargiagi newspaper, for those who don't know, London's leading Cypriot newspaper. We formed a relationship with them. It works both ways. We promote them to our members, to members of the MPS, and they promote us and our objectives. So we have a weekly advert of the association there, and people can get in touch through that engagement, and we can assist them in any issues they have, or in joining the organisation, which, as George has already mentioned, is one of the key objectives for us. So using those sponsorship agreements, we also give our members, or potential members, something to be attracted to. So we have other businesses as sponsors. For example, Archway Sheet Metal Works, where's Peter? Hello, Pete. Who have supported us, as you will hear a bit later on, by providing us with a very attractive barbecue, Cypriot style barbecue, that we were able to raffle at our last summer barbecue event. And it's things like that that actually give people an incentive to join the association. What have we got to offer them? Discounts with other businesses, but all through formal processes. This isn't like, you know, Greek and Cypriot brothers scratching each other's backs or anything like that. Contracts in place, set clear outlines with each other about what we expect from them and what they should expect from us. And we work together to support the community and support our membership. And in turn, going into year 3, we're going to start looking towards the increase of our membership, having embedded the foundations, created those relationships with our community, and rolling on further in towards the 5-year. So this is how it might look like. The association, it works on those 3 elements of the structure, puts in towards those 2 strands, the members and the community, and in turn that gives back to the MPS, as we've said, by increasing that representation of minority ethnics. And those parts of the 3 stars that you saw at the start were broken down into different sections, and you can see those here. So we aim to have, and we've been very successful this year, probably for the first time in many years, of being able to commit to meeting as a committee every month. And bearing in mind the difficulties that we face in London at the moment as an organisation, that is outstanding, and that I can only commend the efforts of the committee members and members who have attended on member meeting days as well, for that happening. And that enables us to progress these matters. These things don't happen by themselves. We have our full-time roles. You have members of the committee who are special constables, who have full-time jobs, who run businesses. You have members of the committee who are leaders in the organisation. You have members of the committee who are community support officers. And we all know the challenges we face, frontline policing and other specialist roles out there have a lot to deal with at the moment. So for us to be able to bring about this 5-year plan has been a real challenge. And I thank the committee for contributing towards that. And as I said, the broken down points of each of those stars enable us to focus on each strand and make sure that we are successful in our objectives. Big part of that is communication. And what we've done is really get to grips of how we communicate with our members and the community. Now, in the top left-hand corner there, we have the intranet, which is our internal web, so for police officers only. And we have established a link between that and our external website. So any current members or potential members have direct access to that whilst at work. As I've already touched on, the London's leading Cypriot newspaper, the Barigagir, weekly advert there. And as part of our agreement, our sponsorship agreement with London Greek Radio, we have a monthly advert to promote recruitment and the association. We still have our internal mail, so our members are communicated internally with any job opportunities, any developments in current issues around Brexit and how that might affect them. And externally, we look towards our website, which George mentioned is quite key in what we're trying to deliver. And that has a mailing system which goes out to all our current members and links in with our social media, so that message continues to flow down the chain. And this is where I get really excited. From year 3 onwards, one of the biggest things we're working on is a community engagement program called WEBS. And the aim for this is to have the association linked in with those key stakeholders across the bottom. Places of worship, so that could be our Greek Orthodox churches or even mosques for our Turkish Cypriot members. Places of education, our full-time Greek schools, St Andrew the Apostle, North London, and St Cyprian's Primary School in South London. And of course, all the other Saturday Greek schools that many of us have attended and probably know people that still attend. Businesses, which that list could be endless, bearing in mind how many have been established since Greeks and Cypriots first came into the UK. And the social side of things as well. So we have obviously the community centres, predominantly for the elderly, and also some youth clubs as well. And the reason why we've got those pyramid shapes there is because there's only a few of us. And we, as I said, we have those full-time roles. So by default, the best position we can take is establishing the relationship with the heads of each of those strands and spreading the message that we have, the positive message, crime prevention, promoting recruitment through those channels, and to have that spread out across to their groups or congregations as an example. So let's say there is a concern around a major incident in London around places of worship. Our relationships with those priests could be key to delivering a message on Sundays when they're speaking to their congregation. We can't be at every Greek Orthodox church in London. It's physically impossible. I'd love to be able to, but it's physically impossible. So that's one of the things we can do. And it comes back towards us as well. That relationship is built and they can come to us at any point. At the moment, I think we've only got a few relationships built that we could probably look around this room and see a few faces that we know very well. But the hard work for us is to really build that and capture every single Greek and Cypriot establishment under those headings within the next 3 years. So that's what we're working towards. It's a big challenge, but as I said to Peter Suthers when I first joined the organisation, I was going to do big things apparently, so let's hope I get there. Let's hope we get there as a committee. So thanks to the committee, thanks for everyone for your support. That is where we're going, and hopefully we'll get there. Right, so we're going to move on to some awards now. George, over to you.
Thank you. So we've already had one community awards given out. We have 3 remaining awards, and 2 of them are awards that we give out on a yearly basis to one of our members. And the first one being the Phidias Sodrio Award. And we have the privilege of actually having Phidias with us today to present this award, which I'll invite you in a second once I've gone through all the nominees. So this award is been presented in recognition of a member's outstanding efforts and achievements in representing the MPS GCA in the past year. And we have 3 outstanding candidates and nominees, and I'll quickly go through each of these so you understand the work that they've done before announcing the winner. So our first nominee is Kiri Georgiou, our Vice Secretary, who Tom mentioned briefly. Kiri's been Vice Secretary for 2 years, and this year delivered the first ever profitable members and community barbecue that the GCA has ever delivered. and that's no mean feat. It's been tried previously. Kiri recognised the financial pressures put on all staff associations, which had resulted in us not being able to do a barbecue the previous year, to the outrage of many of our members and also community. However, she was resolute in delivering a great event for our members. Kiri secured an affordable venue and used sponsors effectively whilst liaising with the MPS partners to deliver a fantastic event on budget. The event's success has provided the GCA a strong financial foundation for the coming year. Kiri's also been essential in the coordination of our sponsorship programme, ensuring that everything is legally binding and making sure that we conduct ourselves in a professional manner when dealing with external stakeholders. And this underpins her professionalism and her integrity. So thank you, Kiri. Our second nominee is Gosta Ioannou, Assistant Secretary. Gosta's been a GCA member since 2003, making him the longest serving member on our committee. Despite this, his hunger and passion to represent his community, the MPS and the GCA has not faltered. Gosta can always be relied upon to represent our association at all our events, including the barbecues, the Cyprus Wine Festival and Business Exhibition, and also the feeding of the elderly. Gosta's understanding of the unique Cypriot culture, lifestyle and mannerisms making him an invaluable asset to both the MPS and GCA. So thank you, Gosta. Last but not least, our third nominee, Pierre Pedro. He's our Vice Chairperson. Now, despite having left the MPS several years ago and no longer being employed by the MPS, he remains an honorary member and as such is eligible to be in our committee, and he's a valuable committee member. He's continued to play an active part with the GCA in his own time, not being paid by the MPS at all, whilst also juggling all the other commitments he has with his full-time employment. He's been instrumental in building relationships with important external stakeholders such as our sponsors, LGR, and is currently leading the GCA in bringing back our much-loved police beat, which we've spoken about a couple of times now. Pierre can always be relied upon for support and assistance and continues to represent both the MPS and GCA to the highest standard, despite having no contractual obligation to do so. So thank you very much, Pierre. Very much appreciated. Can I again congratulate all three nominees? Very well done on your work in the past 3 years. And can I invite Fidias up to the stage to present the award to the winner, which I will announce in a second. So the award this year goes to Kiri Georgiou. Unfortunately, Kiri couldn't be here today because she's in Cyprus dealing with family matters. So could I invite Af to the stage to accept on her behalf, please? Can we have a round of applause for Kiri? If you'd like to stop here. Thank you. Tom, I now believe you're going to present the Peter Savas Award?
Yes.
Is that correct? Cool. Over to you.
So, the Peter Savas Award. This award was introduced by co-founder Peter Savas only a few years ago at our 15th anniversary AGM, which was held here. It aims to recognise those who have contributed to the progress of the MPS GCA, whilst not only fulfilling a demanding full-time role, but also advancing their own and others' development. This year's winner has established a well-known, successful business in the heart of the community in North London. He's faced some real challenges over recent years with uncertainty around the relocation of the business and being targeted and subject to significant criminal damage. Along the way, he's given up the little time he has to serve the communities of London voluntarily as a special constable. He's shown the initiative and courage to implement his own ideas, utilising the skills from outside the organisation to improve the effectiveness of his and his colleagues' working environment. He is currently pursuing promotion to become a leader within the Metropolitan Special Constabulary, and I have no doubt that he will achieve his goal. The support he gave to our summer barbecue in 2018 contributed to what turned out to be our most successful event to date. It gives me great pleasure to announce the winner and welcome to the front, Peter Joseph. I think it's fair to say he wasn't expecting that. And now we move on to the second community award. The second award goes to someone who these awards were made for, someone who lives and breathes community. He embraced the MPS GCA as part of the people and has ensured for many years that we have been involved in the largest Cypriot event outside of the Mediterranean island. This has enabled us year in, year out to engage with tens of thousands of people to support them in reducing crime and recruiting many of those to the Metropolitan Police Service. The most recent example of this was when one of our very own committee members, recruited as a teenager from the Cypriot Wine Festival and Business Expo, supported into the MPS by us and now running the exact event that he was recruited at. The winner of this award extends his support to promoting us every week in London's leading Cypriot newspaper and giving us greater exposure to the community we serve. I'm proud to present this award to Bambos Charalambos, Managing Director of the Parusia. Well done, Bambos. Again, someone else that wasn't expecting that, apparently. Right now, we move on to our sponsorship project. George, over to you.
Okay, this is the last talk we're going to have before our Q&As and then lunch. So hopefully it won't keep you guys too long. As we've already mentioned, when I became secretary, I looked at the sponsors that we currently had and looked at what is being done in the private sector in terms of membership to organisations where they entice people to become members by offering them discounts. And we also do this with the blue light cards. And I thought, why can't we do this within our Greek and Cypriot community? Why can't we have a membership card where if we present it at certain stores, certain restaurants, certain areas of interest, that we can't get a discount, and then also entice members into our association, which will only benefit us in terms of being able to deliver more projects, more community events, and in turn improve the representation of Greek and Cypriots in the MPS. So this was my idea, this is my thought process on the matter, and with the help of the committee, we've managed to firm up the sponsors that we did have through legally binding contracts which have been ratified by the MPS and under MPS policies, and now we're looking to improve and increase the amount of sponsors that we do have within our community to give the benefits back to our members. As a result, the programme has been reformed, and as I said, the businesses that we're looking at need to underpin the culture, the Greek and Cypriot culture, so it will be through our religion, our food, language, and of course music. As a result, we have quite a few sponsors. These include LGR, Police Pass, who, although are not a Greek and Cypriot organisation, underpin our values of developing our members and retaining them, and offer our members a unique discount for their packages for going for promotion, whether that be for sergeants or inspectors, and again underpins the MPS's inclusion strategy of increasing the amount of BAME officers in SLT ranks. At the moment, only 6% of our SLTs, so Chief Inspector and above, are from a BAME background. You compare that to the demographics of London, which is over 40%. This shift needs to change, and this is our work as an association where we need to do this. So we have quite a few sponsors, and we're looking to expand them. We've got negotiations at the moment with current different outlets where we're working hard as a committee, and we'll be delivering them in the next 3 to 5 years, as Tom mentioned in his 5-year plan. However, for the time being, we'd like to present a plaque to each of our sponsors who are currently here today, just as a thank you for their ongoing support and help. So first and foremost, can I ask Costa Ioannou come up to the stage and present a plaque to Bambos Charalambos. Sorry, you've got to come up again. Next up, if I can ask Pierre Pedro to come up to the stage, and we have a plaque to be presented to Vasilis Banaye from LGR.
I'd like to step on the Oscars. Thank you very much. Thank you.
And the last of our sponsors who could make it today, sorry Peter, you've got to come up here again. Peter Joseph from Archway, and this is going to be presented by Socrates Ioannou. Thank you very much for all of those that are involved in that part. That goes without saying, there's quite a few members in here. First opportunity that we've had to speak with you directly, or it might be the first time in a long time you've attended one of our meetings. If you have any ideas or any links that you have within our community which you think we could benefit from by linking in with them as an association, drop us an email, give us a phone call, speak to us afterwards, and we can look to see what we can do.
No, lovely, thank you. So we'll just hand over to the Chief, and I'll just have a couple of minutes before we break for lunch.
Once again, I would like to congratulate you for the excellent work you're doing for our communities here in London. With all due respect, I have to answer to Peter Savas. He described what Cyprus Police was more than a decade ago. And we must admit we are members, we are all Cypriots or Greeks. We know that we live in a small place. We know the culture was there for ages. But during the last 5 years, we are changing. And we are changing rapidly. And believe me, Cyprus Police is not what you described, Peter Savas. That was many years ago. We're changing. We're being influenced by you, by the Met, and by other law enforcement agencies, police organizations in the UK. We have a constant cooperation and collaboration with police organizations in the UK. That's why I'm present frequently at the NPCC meetings. And I'm proud to say that the last 5 years, since I've been a chief of police in Cyprus, in the Cyprus Police, we have had members of the parliament in jail, going to jail. We have had mayors going to jail. We have had ministers or former ministers going to jail. Oh, 15 years ago, that wasn't the case. So we're changing, and we're changing rapidly. We have corrupted police officers being suspended, facing criminal procedures, and so on. And that's not the chiefs of police job. It's the Cyprus police job, and also it's the Attorney General's job, who happens to be a great guy, Kostas Skleridis, and we're changing. So I really felt as being the chief of this organization to give the current reality of what Cyprus police is nowadays. We're not where we wanted to be, but we're getting there, I tell you. Thank you very much.
We are here in the Cypriot embassy. They are celebrating their 20th anniversary of Metropolitan Police Service, and we have here Thωμά Χατζησάββα. Nice to meet you, Mr. Hadzisavvas.
Nice to meet you. Thank you.
You are presenting all of your activities, and I would like to ask you about your visions and what you're planning to do.
So the main thing for us, the main reason why the association was ever created, was to attract more Greeks and Cypriots into the Metropolitan Police Service, so that we had officers who were able to serve the communities of Greeks and Cypriots that have come here to build their lives, to work in the UK. And that brings an understanding of culture, religion, language. So this is, in general, the main objective. This is the main aim. My vision going forward, so we've been doing this for 20 years now, as you said, the anniversary, is to keep that number increasing. So we have a real challenge in attracting those members of the community, to bring the numbers up from roughly 100 members at the moment. We need to increase that, going on to 200-300 members in the next few years.
I think you're doing a great job here.
Thank you.
And one more question. What is your relationship between the police of the UK? You have great relationship?
We are serving members of the police in the UK. So the association work that we do is all voluntary. Otherwise, we are all serving members of the Metropolitan Police Service. So we have constables, we have sergeants, we have inspectors, and we all do a full-time role on the front line of policing in London. And the work we do for the association to work with the community, that's a massive voluntary role. So things that we do in our own time.
Yes. Thank you very much. I hope you continue your hard working.
Thank you very
and
much.
I hope you will celebrate the next 20th anniversary. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thanks.
Έχουμε κοντά μας τον κύριο Ζαχαρία Χρυσοστόμου. Χάρηκα για την γνωριμία. Έχετε υπηρετήσει, είστε ο αρχηγός της Αστυνομίας στην Κύπρο και είχατε υπηρετήσει ήσασταν υπεύθυνος στο γραφείο καταπολέμησης της τρομοκρατίας, ωστόσο και στο γραφείο καταπολέμησης του χουλιγανισμού. Θέλουμε το σχόλιο σας για την τρομοκρατία, η οποία το 2019 έχει πάρει μεγάλες διαστάσεις. Πρέπει να φοβόμαστε ακόμα?
Κοιτάξτε, η τρομοκρατία είναι ένα φαινόμενο το οποίο έχει πάρει μια διαφορετική τροπή, ιδιαίτερα τα τελευταία χρόνια μέσα από την παρουσία του ISIS. Παλαιότερα η τρομοκρατική απειλή περιοριζόταν σε αυτό που ονομάζεται hard targets, δηλαδή χτυπήματα σε πρεσβείες, άλλους οργανισμούς, υποδομές κλπ. Σήμερα η τρομοκρατία επικεντρώνεται, έχει πάρει μια εντελώς διαφορετική μορφή ο τρόπος δράσης και ταυτόχρονα επικεντρώνεται σε αυτό που ονομάζουμε soft targets, σε πολίτες, οπουδήποτε, είτε σε δρόμους, σε εκκλησίες, και βλέπουμε τα φαινόμενα τα οποία είναι πραγματικά προβληματίζουν όλους τους οργανισμούς επιβολής του νόμου ανά το παγκόσμιο. Ως εκ τούτου όλοι και οι διεθνείς οργανισμοί και οι τοπικοί αστυνομικοί οργανισμοί έχουμε αναθεωρήσει τους τρόπους δράσης, την προληπτική μας πολιτική και την καταστατική πολιτική, και το ίδιο έχουμε κάνει και στην Κύπρο, η οποία Κύπρος θα πρέπει να πω ότι για χρόνια δεν ένιωθε ότι θα έπρεπε να λαμβάνει ιδιαίτερα μέτρα. Παρ' όλα αυτά, και ενώ μέχρι στιγμής, και θέλω να το ξεκαθαρίσω, δεν έχουμε πάρει οποιαδήποτε πληροφορία, είτε εμείς είτε από εταίρους μας, σε σχέση με οποιαδήποτε απειλή στο έδαφος της Κυπριακής Δημοκρατίας, λαμβάνουμε μέτρα.
Η Metropolitan Police Service εδώ στο Λονδίνο κλείνει 20 χρόνια. Παρευρεθήκατε κι εσείς εδώ. Θέλω το σχόλιο σας για τη δουλειά που γίνεται αυτά τα 20 χρόνια ως αρχηγός της Αστυνομίας της Κύπρου. Ποιο είναι το σχόλιο σας?
Πρέπει καταρχάς να εκφράσω πραγματικά το θαυμασμό μου για το έργο που έχει επιτελέσει τα τελευταία 20 χρόνια ο Σύνδεσμος Ελλήνων και Κυπρίων μελών της Μητροπολιτικής Αστυνομίας του Λονδίνου. Ξεκίνησε σιγά σιγά με προβλήματα όπως κάθε αρχή, όμως σήμερα δραστηριοποιείται πάρα πολύ και προσφέρει ιδιαίτερα σωστές υπηρεσίες βασισμένες στις αρχές και αξίες μέσα από τις οποίες τα παιδιά αυτά έχουν μεγαλώσει στην ελληνική και κυπριακή κοινότητα, και μέσα από τη δράση τους επωφελούνται τόσο η ελληνική και η κυπριακή κοινότητα του Λονδίνου, αλλά και η ίδια υπηρεσία στην οποία υπηρετούν, δηλαδή η Μητροπολιτική Αστυνομία του Λονδίνου. Γι' αυτόν πραγματικά τους έχω συγχαρεί, και η παρουσία μου εδώ είναι συμβολική, είναι ακριβώς για να στηρίξει την προσπάθεια τους η παρουσία του θεσμού του Αρχηγού Αστυνομίας Κύπρου, και παράλληλα να δώσει το μήνυμα ότι η διεθνής αστυνομική συνεργασία είναι επιβεβλημένη στις μέρες μας για να μπορέσουμε να ανταποκριθούμε στις προκλήσεις και απειλές που είναι πρωτοφανείς. Το εργασιακό μας περιβάλλον μεταλλάσσεται και εξελίσσεται με ταχύτατους ρυθμούς, και μόνο μέσα από τις συνέργειες και συνεργασίες μπορούμε να προσφέρουμε την προστασία και την ασφάλεια που οφείλουμε να προσφέρουμε στους πολίτες μας.
Σας ευχαριστούμε πάρα πολύ.
Είστε καλά.